Hello friends, today's review is on the EcoTools Fresh and Flawless 5-piece complexion set. So this is a drugstore price range brush kit. I found mine in Ulta. It was 15 bucks. These brushes promise a smooth airbrush finish. And I can say I've known EcoTools brushes to be nothing but soft, nice quality, well made. I find that they shed very little, if at all. This set, I kind of glanced at it in the store and I thought, you know, I wonder if some of these brushes could replace or be good alternatives to some of the other brushes that I use every day for my face makeup. So we're talking things like concealer, foundation, powder. So there's a look at the brushes. You can see they've all got a different color and design on the ferrule. And here's a look at how it compares size-wise to a standard size brush. This is my Sigma F10. So you can see it's quite a bit longer. What I'm most concerned about is the size of the brushes as far as the bristles go and whether they can perform as well as a full-size brush. So I'm not super concerned about the handle being shorter. The first one right here, this is said to be a flat concealer brush. The next one over is said to be a buffing concealer brush. We've got a precision foundation brush, a complexion blending brush that can be used for liquid or powder foundation, and then a full powder brush right here at the end. It's cruelty-free bristles. These are recycled aluminum ferrules and bamboo handles on these. So my thought is, if I can pull off and be satisfied with my face makeup using these brushes, it's going to be well worth the 15 bucks. The first thing I used is the Complexion blending brush, and this is the one that they said could be used for like your powder or your liquid foundation. This is considerably smaller than the F80 that I normally use to buff in my foundation, but I thought, hey, what the heck, I'm going to try this with my CoverGirl Stay Fabulous liquid foundation. So as usual, I patched that all over my face and then used this kind of circular motions, just buffing everything in. The thing I like about my F80 is that there's more surface area in the top of the brush, so I feel like I'm getting, sorry, itch. I feel like I'm getting a smoother, more even application. With this, I feel like I have to be a little more careful, although I do really like the way this gets around smaller areas. And I think it was able to do the job and blend out my foundation well enough. Also, I thought this brush was a good size if I wanted to dab over my concealer that's under my eye and not like wipe away too much coverage, but just like dab it in. Then to buff out my concealer on the other side, I thought I'd pull in the buffing concealer brush, and this is comparable in size but a little bit smaller than my Sigma P80 brush, and very, very soft. I really like this little guy. I thought it blended out the concealer well. I have no complaints size-wise on this brush. I mean, I just think it worked awesome. Then I used the flat concealer brush just to work on a few targeted areas around my nose. I do think this one could have gotten the job done there just as well, but since I was kind of trying to test out every brush in this kit, I used this one just around some smaller areas and sort of used it to pat in the concealer there, and that worked fine also. The brush for powder, I mean, I love the shape. I love how it's tapered down the sides. I mean, it's just a great design. I just wish it were bigger, because really my Sigma F10 is what I use. I've been using it lately for like my powder, my bronzer, and my blush, and you can see it's about double the size of this one, which is the full powder brush. While I'm able to apply my powder and my bronzer with this brush, I do feel like it's a little small. It works better for, say, blush or highlight or something where you're not really trying to cover that big of an area, but I mean, for powder, I just feel like it's pretty undersized. Then there's one more brush in here that I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. It's the Precision Foundation, and it's teensy tiny, really, really skinny. So what am I going to do with this? I actually use this for my eye primer, and I normally would just use my finger for that task, which I think is just as easy, but I mean, this did do well enough with that. This might also be good for cream shadow. It really comes to a pointed tip, so I think it does work well around the eye area, but this is never something I would use to apply foundation. I think for $15, this is a really good quality brush set. While I may not use every brush for its intended purpose, I do think they all have something good to offer. And I think if you were going to give this set to someone, and maybe you could instruct them a little bit on what each brush would be. Hi, sweet pea. If you could instruct them a little bit on what each brush would be best for, and you could pair it with a full-size blush or powder brush, I think whoever you're giving this to would be good to go face-wise. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.